Hi, everybody. My name is Owen. For those of you who don't know who I am, we decided to do something a little tiny bit different this year for What's New, What's Next. I'm going to be quote-unquote emceeing the event. I'm going to introduce all of our value streams. I'm going to get everybody well acquainted with everything we're going to go over this morning. I was told by Aaron that I needed to entertain people. That's half the reason why I'm here. The other half is I'm photographing the event. And then the third half is the clothes that I'm going to be wearing. If anybody was curious why I posted on the wall that closet picture of all of my clothes, if you haven't seen it, scroll back. You're going to see very soon why I brought all those clothes. So another thing that I wanted to do, this is kind of a personal agenda for the whole week, is throughout the week I'm going to be helping you guys connect better with your younger patients. How, Owen? I'll tell you how. I'm going to teach you some Gen Z slang throughout the week so that you guys can start to understand. Well, there you go. Okay, so we're going to start today with a super, super easy one. You guys are probably familiar with it because it was actually named Oxford University Press's Word of the Year in 2013. Yeah, Oxford University Press said this Gen Z slang is our Word of the Year. And that word is Riz. Right? We've all heard Riz. Some people know how to use it, some people don't. Well, I'm here to help you, okay? So the etymology of the word, big word for Gen Z slang. Etymology is charisma. So Riz comes from charisma. And the definition, I got the definition, it is the style, charm, or ability to attract a romantic partner. So how could you use it in a sentence, Owen? I'll give you an example. Have you seen Owen? He's got so much Riz. Thank you. Or another example you could use is what Chip lacks in Riz, he makes up for in his consulting knowledge. No, but for real, I'm not gonna take too long up here because we have a lot. What's new, what's next? I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to what has been hitting your workstations lately, but we're really trying to crank out some really, really good stuff for you guys, and we have a lot of really good stuff coming up. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to our first presenter, Jen Marsala. She's going to be working with the Clinical Data Exchange folks, and I'll be back in a minute. Thank you, Jen.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jen Marsala, and I'm a project manager on the Clinical Data Exchange team here at PCC. The PCCers on this team specialize in interoperability, which is the exchange of clinical data between your practices and third-party systems. This includes PCC ERX, our e-prescribing solution, and Morgan is going to speak to that side of things in just a little bit. So this team does really amazing work. All of the explosions that are happening on the screen right now are just examples of different types of data that flow through the connections and interfaces that we develop, implement, support, and maintain for your practices. There's a wide variety of them. We focus quite a bit on creating connections to immunization registries so that you can submit and retrieve immunization data, as well as connections with lab vendors so that you can receive lab results in the EHR. But there's lots of other kinds of connections that we build For example, sending COVID and lead test results to state departments of health and sending CCDAs to organizations that you might be participating with, like CINs and HIEs. All of this is to say that through all these different kinds of connections and the data sharing that occurs through them, we're helping your practices work more efficiently, meet state requirements, fulfill your data sharing obligations, and receive incentives from programs that you might be participating in. And all of this helps you to care for your patients and stay independent. So with that, let's start off by taking a look at what's new with immunization registry connections. I showed this map last year at the UC. It shows the connections that we had to immunization registries as of last July. If you look at the legend, you can see that there's two kinds of connections. In states that are yellow, PCC had a connection with the registry that allowed PCC clients to submit immunization data. That's a one-way connection. And then in states that are green, PCC had a connection with the registry that allowed you to both submit and retrieve immunization data. That's a bidirectional connection. So let's go ahead and take a look at the progress that we've made over the past 12 months. So there's 11 more bidirectional states. Different registries work at different paces, of course. Some are not ready to onboard new clients or work with PCC. For those that are, the onboarding processes vary. Some are straightforward and simple, others are lengthy. What I can say for sure is that over the next 12 months, we'll make as much progress as we can with the remaining yellow and gray jurisdictions on the map. Another point I want to make is that the connections to registries aren't automatic. PCC has to set them up. If you're not sure if your practice has a connection with your registry, reach out and ask us. A great opportunity to do that would be at the Immunization Registry Walk-in Clinic. That's happening tomorrow in the open lab. And members of CDX will be there to help answer any questions that you have related to your state immunization registry. All right. So last year, I spoke about this team's plan to pilot a new immunization forecasting solution in the EHR. Last summer, we ran with that pilot, and then in the fall, all of you transitioned to a new forecasting solution. HLN Consulting is PCC's new immunization forecasting partner. They're great to work with. They're really responsive. And ICE, the immunization calculation engine, is the new forecasting solution. It is the source of the forecasting data that you see in PCC EHR. What's great about ICE is that its logic follows CDC and ACIP recommendations, and it also leverages clinical decision support for immunizations. And what this means for you is that you've got more accurate forecasts, much more accurate than before the transition. You might have noticed that performance is better, and the updates that you're receiving are timely and they're tested. Since the transition, HLN has sent us a number of updates. HLN thoroughly tests them. Members of this team do additional testing, and then when the updates are ready, we can seamlessly apply those updates to your system so that you've got the latest and greatest forecasting logic. A big thank you to all the practices who participated in the pilot last summer and who helped us confirm that the move to ICE was a good one. All right, before I wrap up with immunizations, I want to plug 2 conference sessions that are happening. This conference, they're being taught by 4 very knowledgeable PCCers. The first, Vaccine Management 101, is happening this afternoon. And those PCCers will cover everything you need to know about configuring your system for immunizations and managing your vaccine inventory. You can take an even deeper dive with them tomorrow in Vaccine Administration 201. They'll be doing a deep dive with with workflows related to administering vaccines, the school forms, and working with your state immunization registry. And one more exciting bit is that this afternoon in the 101 class, we'll be raffling off a barcode scanner. All right. So something else that's new in 10.0 is the chart export tool. The chart export tool allows you to export a single patient's chart into an encrypted file. By default, it excludes confidential content, sexual orientation and gender identity data, and portal messages. But as you can see on the slide, we give you the options to include those things. We've been listening really carefully and closely to your feedback about this functionality, and what we're hearing is that many of you would like to exclude phone notes as well. And so you're helping shape the future of this tool. We're going to make that happen, and I'll say more about that in a few slides when I talk about what's next. If you've used the tool and you've got feedback about it, you can come find me. You can go to the Wishing Well. We'd love to have you share your thoughts. There is a larger story around the chart export tool, and that is that by implementing it, we were able to meet the criteria for certification. It was really important for us to pursue this certification and get PCC EHR back on the certified health IT product list so that your practices would be in a better position to forge relationships with and work with third-party health systems. So we were very happy to accomplish this back in May with 10.0. Another thing that's new, also in 10.0, is some improvements that we made to the clinical document exchange functionality. If your practice has this functionality enabled, you may have noticed that in addition to retrieving CCDAs, you can also retrieve PDFs, images, and other common file types from organizations that you query when those organizations make those kinds of files available. We really improved the UI so that you're getting better feedback about what kinds of files are available and whether or not they can be retrieved. All right, and finally, we're going to wrap up with what's next here. Over the course of the next year, we're going to continue building connections to third parties. That's ongoing. It doesn't stop. I just mentioned this. We're going to make improvements to the chart export tool. We'll exclude phone notes, but of course give you the option to include them when that's desired. And we're targeting 10.2 for that. And finally, last year I spoke about this team being in the early planning and research stages of an electronic lab ordering solution in PCC EHR. We've taken the past year to break down the project into some actionable steps. One step that we've taken is making improvements to specimen label printing. And we're going to make that happen in 10.1. And I'll give you a little sneak peek. We're going to make this easier for you by allowing you to print labels from within the lab order workflow. There'll be a label preview, and there'll be a new specimen source field. So stay tuned for more details as 10.1 gets closer. And now I'm going to turn it over to Morgan for ERX.
Give it up for Jen.
Does this work?
Give it up for Jen Marsal. Yeah. Congratulations. Morgan, come on up. Next is Morgan. She's going to do some ERX updates for you guys, which includes something really exciting, right, Morgan?
Multiple exciting things.
Not just one exciting
Wow.
thing.
Okay.
Multiple.
Will you stay the whole time?
No.
Oh.
No.
All
But
right.
Chip and Polly will.
I know, but I'm kind of mad it's not the full white cowboy outfit, Chip, so...
Oh, yeah, that should
I
have
can't
been
be
the cutoff.
alone. Okay, I guess I'll get going.
Yeah, all right.
Bye.
Goodbye.
See ya. I'm already losing my voice after one day of the conference, so hopefully I'm not squeakier than normal. Hi, I'm Morgan, and I'll be giving you the updates from the land of PCC ERX. First up, we're going to take a tour back into the last year, from the 9.7 release up until 10.0 that was delivered just this past June. I'm going to talk really fast today because they didn't give me much time. I have a session on Friday, so please stop by if you'd like more slower, detailed information about all of this. The 9.7 release came out just after the users conference last year, and that was when we gave the prescription component a complete makeover. Ooh, perhaps I'm too close to this mic. We gave you per user permissions to decide what you want to happen when you add a new pharmacy to a patient profile. Not everybody agreed that the pharmacy should just plop down at the bottom of the list, and you said, no, I want that to be the default. And then your neighbor said, no, I don't want that at all. So we gave you some configuration so you can decide if that's always the default, never the default, or give you an option to choose for every individual patient. You also now have the ability to copy pharmacies between siblings. If that's not happening for you today, it's because you haven't turned it on. It's under your My Settings, and this is a great one to take home to your staff. We also added the ability to add custom nicknames to your pharmacies so you can find them easier. 9.8 was the release this past fall. That was probably our biggest release of the last year. That had things like the total rewrite of the formulary service. So previously we were using SureScripts, and we still are today, but now we use something called real-time prescription benefit. This went from honestly kind of boring formulary information to very patient plan-specific data about their copays, their out-of-pocket costs, deductibles, and all that good stuff. We added an indicator for your entries in medication history, because you know, when you're like cleaning up the chart and you're hitting that trash can, and then that message pops up and says, I canceled that, and you're like, why? There was an active prescription attached to that, so we added an indicator so you'll know in case you want to avoid doing that. And speaking of canceling messages, you now have configuration to decide how you want that to behave. That's in your My Settings as well. We'll talk about this on Friday. Probably my favorite of this group was the ability to reroute a prescription from one pharmacy to another. So you know how no one has Adderall? Yeah, I know. And so you could, up to 7 days after you sent that first prescription to CVS, if you find out that the one down the street has it, use the resend button, and it will cancel prescription number 1 and send a fresh one off to the pharmacy that has it. It has other uses too, but I don't have a lot of time this morning. And then I picked out a couple other big improvements from the last year. There's mixed reviews on this first one. We added the minimum commercial package size suggestion for things like liquids and drops. People feel great about this for eye drops and ear drops. They're not so sure about when it comes to antibiotics. We can talk about the reasons why we made that change and ways you can work through that if that's not your comfort level. This one goes out to Dr. Foti at Cypress. I don't know where she is, but every year she'd say, how come my 16-year-old patient, when I try to prescribe something, it says, this isn't a good idea if your patient has neonatal jaundice. And you say, I know, and they don't. They're 16. That was a bug. That's fixed now. So thank you for always reminding me that that needed to be fixed. We made some smoother transitions for off-market medications because things are always changing in the market, so that shouldn't be your problem. We've made some other changes in the background to make that easier for you. That poor patient takes no medications button, man, some offices, no matter what you did, you couldn't click it. That shouldn't have been a problem at all, and that is now resolved. You should be able to click that at any point when that chart has no medications on it. Our nursing staff had reported that sometimes they had issues with the ordering provider, whether they changed it and it didn't save, or they changed it and it felt pretty good, and then it went to the pharmacy under a different name. That's obviously not a good thing. We have fixed that at this point as well. Augmentin and Bactrim, there's been issues with these two over the years. It's probably a few years at this point. Augmentin and Bactrim, when you use weight-based dosing, would calculate out to the number of milligrams instead of mLs, and everyone said, please stop that. So we fixed that, and there were some smaller scale issues with it earlier last year that are fixed as well. All right, so what's next? Well, that is a great question. And Chip told you all to pay attention, so now you're all being very, very good students. If you were at the conference last year, you might remember I made this really corny joke about how building software is like taking a ride in a van on a road trip. And you only can drive so many hours in a day, and there's speed limits, and there's inspections from the man, there's all those kind of things. I'll spare you most of that, except that the theme, it's kind of back this year. When teams get together and decide what they're going to build for our users, they call it a roadmap. For today's purposes, I'm going to call it a road trip. And you can see there's this groovy road at the bottom, and the van's left. It's off, it's doing stuff. And at the top, those happy sunshines, those could be like signs on the side of the road for the destinations we're heading towards, or maybe it's like the weather forecast. And you know when you're getting ready for a trip and you don't know what to pack, and you get your phone out and you're looking and you're like, you can't look at the weather more than 10 to 14 days anyway. You know it's generally warm in June, and if you're from the Northeast like me, it's going to snow, maybe, in the winter, but you really don't know until you get there what the weather's going to look like. So you might notice, at the bottom, this curvy road. I couldn't decide if those were curves or like a mountain, but just pretend the van's doing good. We're cruising. And you'll notice that we've passed the 10.1 mark. And I don't know if you pay attention to the numbers of releases, but you don't have 10.1 yet. So you'll say, Morgan, that's the future. And it is, but development-wise, we've already done that work. So we've got stuff ready for that, and we're heading towards mystery location number 1. Ooh. So if any of you or your staff attend our monthly ERX Web Labs, you'll know one of the big projects we're working on is electronic prior authorization. There's 2 other mysteries here, right? But we're going to come back to this. So first up is electronic prior authorization. With that new real-time prescription benefit service, we can now tell you if a prior authorization is needed, but that's where it stops. You can't really do anything with it. You're probably using that website that everybody uses, covermymeds.com, and that's okay. You're probably doing a lot of manual paperwork, faxes, and you're certainly spending a lot of time. We feel that pain, and this project is aimed at making this as smooth and as centralized as possible. So these are some screenshots here to show you what it's going to look like. We kicked off this project in December of 2023. It is a partnership through SureScripts, which is the same as that new formulary service that we have. You'll see I said release date TBD, because it is. This is largely still under construction, if you're sticking with my road trip analogy. No matter what, throughout this conference, we want to hear your feedback. We don't build this stuff for us. If this doesn't hit the mark, that's a problem. So please let us know how we're doing with this, what kind of input you want to give to us. But just imagine now, I'm writing a prescription for Adderall XR. I've crossed both my fingers that someone has this in stock, and I see that it has a prior authorization needed. By default, that box will be pre-checked. I hit send, and the process begins in the background. It's going to reach out to the PBM and send information back to you in the EHR so you and your staff can work through those questions. That is at the point of prescribing, but you also have another opportunity from prescription history to start that prior authorization at any point. Another big part of prior authorization is tracking how it's going. You guys are doing lots of really creative things with phone notes, sticky notes, I don't even know what, spreadsheets. We don't want you to have to do that anymore. We're going to keep this right inside PCC ERX and show you the status of that prior authorization. These ones are in progress, but you can imagine it's going to say approved. Hopefully not denied, but I know that happens. And you'll also have access to the prior authorization number, so you can share that with the families. We also recognize that some of your staff doesn't go into PCC ERX at all, so we're not going to force them to do that. We will show them the status of the prior authorization in medication history in the EHR side as well. Speaking of those families who are probably calling you every day to say if this has been approved or not, we will provide them with the status of the prior auth from inside the patient portal. Ooh! I didn't know you guys would like that one so much. So we also have big plans to keep everything centralized on the RX task queue. You can search for the prior auths you have in progress. Ones you did last week or last year, we'll let you do manual entry. There's going to be all sorts of good stuff. I didn't mention it yet, but Dr. Dewey Howell, the man behind the curtain who created PCC ERX, this is one of his big projects, and he's presenting on it this afternoon. So please stop by and see all that we've got in progress for this. Wait till you see his giant workflow document that he has, because there are so many incredible layers to this. But as I mentioned, this is largely still under construction. I wish this was done today because we would deliver it to you. This is very likely towards the end of next year. But I didn't want anybody to be sad when I got up here. We want to spread some sunshine. Maybe the forecast has changed. Maybe we're taking a detour. Whatever part of that corny analogy resonates with you. When I got ready this morning, I really thought I had pockets in this dress because I was going to pull my phone out of my pocket and do some Steve Jobs impression to tell you that in the release just after the new year, the 10.2, oh my goodness. Oh boy. You're going to be able to prescribe from your road trip, from your vacation, from the soccer game down the street. I don't care where you are. You'll be able to do that because you'll be able to prescribe from your phone. If you want to see what it looks like, you have to be on your best behavior and go to Dewey's session after this class. If you've never met Dewey, he's hiding out in the back. Dewey, wave so everyone knows. You can say, thanks, Dewey. Thanks, Dewey. I don't want to take credit for this one. It was honestly like 2 weeks ago, and he said, you know what? We can do this. Let's give him a little surprise. So that's what Chip was alluding to. All right, so we're back to the road trip. Here we are. We're headed towards Pocket PCC. We are coming back to EPA. We know how important this is, but we feel like Pocket PCC could be really soon. Then we're going to cruise on over to EPA. You'll see the last one, it's still question marks. That's very likely the prescription drug monitoring programs, your PDMPs. Nobody wants to do that one, but that is important. It could also be the NCPDP. They have a new script standard coming out in early 2026, so we might be forced to do that. But remember, you don't know the forecast until you're pretty close, so it's going to be a little bit. Okay, come check out Dewey's class later today about electronic prior auth. He's going to show you what it looks like from your phone because it's really real. It is happening, and I have it on my phone too. I'm going to talk for 2 hours straight on Friday, but I promise it will be fun. So please come hang out if you want to hear more about anything I've shared this morning, talk more about the roadmap. There's other wishes out there. And we're offering 2 walk-in clinics. You can stop by any point, ask questions, do configuration, all that good stuff.
Everybody give it up.
Oh my goodness! Thank you guys. I'll see you later.
Congratulations, Morgan.
Bye.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for the snaps. So who loves money? We all do. I actually work directly with Kelsey. I do quality assurance, for those of you who don't know, on the Getting Paid team. And so this next one's my favorite. Sorry, everybody.
Thanks. I better be.
Take it away, Kelsey. I'm going to be back in a minute wearing like the same exact thing.
Of course. I don't expect anything less, Owen. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have a big reveal like Morgan, so this is very nerve-wracking. What am I going to do? All right, so I'm Kelsey, and obviously I'm with the Getting Paid department, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's new, what's been happening since the last UC, and what's our roadmap for the future. So let's get started. Okay. So our 9.7 release was on July 30th, 2023, which was the first release after the UC. And one of the things that we added in this release was the needs correction tab, which gave you the ability to see why certain claims were unable to go out. In addition to the tab, we also added the ability to delete a claim. And we also updated the reasons as to why this claim was not going out, why it couldn't be submitted. So it helped you guys understand what the heck was going on. In the same release, we also came out with the insurance payment tool was added. And with this functionality, we gave you guys the ability to adjust copays, enter payments and adjustments, and also you were able to change the expected copay amount through this tool. 9.8. Well, 9.8 was an exciting release. It happened on October 29th. And one of the things that we did was add the history tab in the insurance payment tool. This history tab allowed you to review payment history as you posted insurance payments. In addition to that, when you went to the tab, you had the ability to reverse a payment or do a take back. And also, we gave you the ability to edit a payment. And so last you see, we showed off the insurance payment tool, and we got a lot of feedback throughout the 3 days. And basically it was, why are they not sticky? I want all the sticky fields that PIP has. And you know who you are out there, the people that accosted me, but it's okay, I liked it. So I wrote down the stories. And with the 9.8 release, we made the transaction date, the check number, the payment type, and the adjustment type sticky, the same way that PIP was. And for the 9.9 release, there had been a user story that had been rolling around for a while, which was in the payment tool, we want to be able to search by patient. We don't always have the account or the name on the account. We have the patient name. So we added the ability to search by patient, and we also added the ability to, when you search by account, there is a dependent column, and previously you could only see the first name of the dependent. And sometimes if you had people with the same name, it was very confusing. So we added the last name to that column as well. We also developed a version of the ERA report in the EHR. And we started this project because we had already given you basically insurance payments in the EHR. And we thought, well, let's tackle AutoPIP, right, in the EHR. And we knew that this was a really big project and it was not going to come out all in one release. So we decided to give it to you guys in portions. And the first portion was this one. We gave you the Electronics Readmittance Advice Tool, or ERA tool, as I like to call it. And this gave you the ability to basically run the ERA report via the EHR. All right, 10.0, our latest release. So we actually worked closely with another team, Ensure Success. They'll be up later today. And we found that this story was really important. The next two stories, actually, we worked together with them. And we gave you guys the ability to run insurance eligibility without needing an appointment. And the next story was the ability to print account balances. And the reason we tackled these stories with Ensure Success was because many people were not adopting the new form solution because they didn't have these functionalities in the EHR. But now you do, so there's no excuse. Yeah. So if these were some of the barriers for you guys to adopt the new forms of functionality, please reach out to your CA and tell them, hey, this was the reason I did not adopt originally. I want it now. And I'm sure you guys are going to love it. And in the midst of doing this 10.0 release, something major happened. Something that we were not expecting, and that honestly was not very fun for anybody in this room. Change Healthcare. Yeah, that was a biggie. So as we're developing and working with our teams, Change Healthcare had a cybersecurity breach, right? And basically many members of our team had to shift from working on developing or helping us develop things, to helping you guys with this. And PCC has a dedicated electronic data interchange team. I like to call them EDI because it's much easier. And they've long focused on ensuring the most direct, cost-effective, and well-supported data routes to your payers. For years, we have known that having all your eggs in one basket, not the best solution, right? Even though many of these these entities would love that, we found it to be inherently problematic. So the PCC EDI team develops, maintains, and leverages interfaces with multiple EDI partners, payers, and clearinghouses alike. Even with this knowledge, roughly about 20% of the collective electronic claim process by PCC were directly or indirectly routed through Change Healthcare due to their dominance at the time of the breach. This meant that our PCC EDI team had to work really hard, and they were able to reduce the claim processing dependency on Change Healthcare to roughly about 12% within weeks by leveraging other EDI clearinghouses and dependencies. And since then, it has been reduced to roughly about 2%. And for those of you that don't know, the EDI team has 3 members. So 3 people in our Getting Paid department helped do all of this. And obviously, they had the support of the whole company and everybody else in Getting Paid. But I would like to say, if we could give them a round of applause for their amazing work. Yeah. So that team is not here with us in person. They're home and they're listening. I hope they heard that. I know that they're with us. But they did an amazing job, and they really tried very hard to pivot and do everything they could for you. There do remain payers which retain exclusive EDI arrangements with Change Healthcare, but the EDI team remains vigilant and ready to ensure fulfillment of the EDI vision as opportunities arise. So an example of this is that recently there was a development interfaces with Smart Data Solutions, SDS, Clearinghouse, TRICARE East, and Horizon Blue Cross and Blue Shield of New Jersey is currently a work in progress. So it's still happening. The work is still being done, but they're doing a fantastic job. So thank you guys also for being so patient with us and them. We really do appreciate it. All right, so basically we had these 3 amazing members take over Change Healthcare, and we had to go back to development, right? So for 10.0, we added workflows so you can work with claims that needs correction. You had a section that indicated instructions for the reason your claims didn't go through, and those brought you to areas. So like in the bottom, it would say, edit the patient's policy and enter the valid certification number. Well, we gave you these buttons at the bottom where you could click, and it would bring you straight to wherever you need to go to correct these mistakes. We also did a small change was previously there was a tool called Claim Delay. And it was its own tool, and we thought, well, we have a claim tool, and it sounds a lot like Claim Delay, so why don't we just combine them? So that way it's easier and it's in one place. So we moved the Claim Delay tool to merge with the Claims tool. So now you have one tool, it's called just the Claims tool, and that way it's easier for you guys. And we also did a really cool thing, which was we added claim holds. And some of you might be like, what is a claim hold? And some of you are like, well, I just called PCC to do my claim holds. That is correct. So you guys did not have the ability to make your own claim holds. You would have to contact PCC, and someone in the Getting Paid department would do the claim hold for you. So this actually gave you the ability to basically be able to do it yourselves, gave you that power. So we wanted you guys to have that. All right. So previously I said that we knew that auto posting would take a little bit of time and it would span a couple releases. So in the first release, we did ERA reports. In 10.0, which is the version that you currently have, You are able to process now. So you can auto-post via the EHR. And there have been a lot of feedback. And for those that join our billing drop-in, thank you so much for joining, because that's how we know what you guys want and need based on what we already have developed. And those that are part of beta, we also want to thank you guys, because you gave us great feedback all the time. So that being said, we'll talk a little bit about what's next in 10.0 and beyond, or 10.1, sorry. So for 10.1 and beyond, we at PCC, especially in the Getting Paid department, are working on a project called One PCC. And if you guys have been coming to Users Conference for a while, you might have heard it previously. And basically, to summarize it, the One PCC project is to bring over functionality that is in partner and bring it to the EHR so that it's an easy way to use. And I know, I know. Some of you guys are like, no, I love partner. I understand. I get it. It's super powerful. It's amazing, and I don't disagree. But we want to bring that amazingness to a beautiful interface that's easy to use for you guys, and everything is in one place for you. So we are currently working on that, and because of this, we are working on bringing edit charges into the EHR, which is currently being developed as we speak. We are bringing bills and e-bills. We're going to allow the ability to generate a single statement in the EHR. And this was actually feedback from our beta clients and other users that brought it to us during the billing drop-in, which is in auto-posting, you want the ability to enter transaction date for you to be able to process. So that's actually currently being worked on as well. We're working on bringing certain tables into the EHR, like the insurance and procedure table, so that you guys, again, have the power. You guys can edit and do what you need to without needing to contact support. A big one that's actually already developed and ready to go for you guys is another one that came up last UC. We heard you, we promise. And it was in the insurance payment tool. We gave you the CPT code, but we didn't give you the name of the procedure. And a lot of you were like, maybe I know the code, I don't know. So now we gave you the opportunity to see the procedure name in the insurance payment tool for those that need it. Another thing is we're adding a special cases filter in the ERA tool. So this will help with the auto posting, enhanced auto posting. And we're also adding reviewing billing history for an account in the EHR. So if you guys have any questions on what direction we're going or any of these stories, please feel free to ask us. We love it. We want to hear your thoughts. It's basically what we base our product on, right? Like many have said before. So we have a couple of walk-in clinics that you can, throughout the week, that you can come in. We have wishing wells as well, so if you have any wish that you want me to write down or any one of my colleagues, we're more than welcome. We're more than happy to do so. So here are some of the UC offerings that we have throughout the week. We have some amazing things happening. I'll let you see that for a second. And just so you guys know, if you want to look at the billing-themed talks, you can filter in your app on the top right-hand corner. There's like a little funnel, and you can say, I just want to see billing. And you can see all these there as well. But then there's one missing. Wait. Oh, yes. Our billing drop-in, live from the UC Denver, Colorado. So please join us during our billing drop-in. It is Friday from 1:15 to 2:15. One of those stories that is the 10.1 and beyond slide will be, hopefully everything will work, and you'll be able to see it and give us some feedback on it, something we haven't showed you before. And for those of you who don't know what a billing drop-in is, basically once a month, the Getting Paid team gets together and we answer your questions that billers have. And basically our motive is to make a billing community. We want you guys to talk upon yourselves. We want you guys to speak upon your pains and aches. And if it's something that we can help with, we can absolutely do it while we're there. But sometimes the best answers come from your colleagues. People who are going through the same thing, people who had the same issue, and something worked for them, and we don't know about it. So once a month, we get together, and I think it's 2 hours. I want to say 2 hours. I don't see any billers here. No. 2 hours, right? 2 hours? Oh my gosh, I should know this. I'm sorry. It just feels so short, right? It's 2 hours, and you can sign up through our PCC page for it, and you'll get a link, and you can join the Zoom. And we love hearing people talk in person, but you can also just talk through the chat, so whatever you're more comfortable with. So this month's is going to be live, so there will be people joining us via virtual, but basically Brian, Ben, Jan, Jay, Kristen, Kelsey, Owen, Michael, and Tim, our newest member of the team, will be here live. All right. Well, thank you, guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of your UC.
Everyone, give it up for Kelsey. I know. I feel like I'm like the Oscars, the music, because I'm like, we need to keep moving. Speaking of which, I know this is a long session and there's a lot of information and we're throwing a ton of stuff at you, so like feel free to stand up or walk around if you need to while we're chatting. The other thing is that Kelsey started to touch on this. If you guys have questions about this, please feel free to reach out. Unfortunately, because we have so much going on in this session, we don't really have time for a formal Q&A. We're really going to pack it to the brim. But, I mean, there's multiple ways that you guys can ask these questions, especially folks who are virtual, too. You can reach out on the app to the individual presenters, or you can come to any of the open clinics, or you can come to, oh gosh, you could go to the wishing well, or you could just stop us in the hallway and ask. And if we have some sort of information or answers that are worth everybody knowing, then we'll absolutely make sure we get that shared. So coming up next is Sasha and Althea for Care for Patients. Everybody welcome them to the stage.
All right. Thanks to you all for being here today. I'm Althea, this is Sasha. We're presenting for the clinical and patient engagement team, Care for Patients. And my slides are organized by theme, not by release, so you're not going to see 10-1, 10-2, things like that. But let's get started. Let's talk about what we've been doing. We've been very, very busy. You might have noticed that your messaging queue is looking a little different these days. We added portal message drafts to the messaging queue. Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun one. And so there's greater visibility. They're not going to get lost, and you'll know if you clicked save and exit instead of save. We added patient age, so you can prioritize your callbacks. You might want to call your 6-month-old before your 6-year-old, that type of thing. And we added a status icon on encounters so that you can see who, if anyone, is in an encounter, so you're not opening and responding to the same phone note or portal message. That was a fun one, too. And we also changed the subject column. We made it more efficient use of space with icons and with just kind of restructuring it a little bit. So a little, some good changes there. And you can now prevent scheduling with patient and account flags. You can set these in practice preferences, and you'll see the flag that is limiting scheduling is highlighted in red in both the patient chart and the demographics and in the appointment book. If you're scheduling multiple patients, it'll be red in there too, and you can open the patient details and change the flags if you are the person that's supposed to be doing that. Okay. So this is a great one for protecting your staff. We're thinking about privacy here, and we've made, so in user admin, you can change the portal the portal respondent's name. So you're not going to see the full, the default is the full name, but you can go in and change. You can put in a custom name. You can use full name, short name, and then you can see what it looks like in user admin, and then also you can see what it looks like in the portal. It's also displayed in the encounter as well. Okay, and so we want to give you more control. So we're giving you more access to administrative tools. We've given you access to the room configuration and also to a log of all the chat messages, and only people with certain permissions can access those. The room assignment can be changed now within the chart, and that updates on the schedule screen so you know who's in what's room. And let's see, next. So we added the extended BMI charts from the CDC. They display automatically when a patient is over the 95th percentile. Those are in the drop-down. You don't have to use them. You can use them. And we've created a way of seeing past and future in the visit history index. So above the line is today and the future, and then below the line is in the past. And we've really been thinking a lot about the user's experience in the portal. And this is some of our preparation that Sasha will be talking about next. So portal improvements, we've made the identity verification much more modern and easier to use. You don't have to scroll through a little date picker. That was super annoying. We have a session timeout warning, so after 15 minutes of inactivity, the portal users can just tap the screen or press the resume button, and they'll be resume their, it starts the counter again, so it's another 15 minutes. And a small but mighty improvement, when the portal user gets a notification that their child has a document, there's now a green dot on that patient's sort of card in the portal, so they can see which child has a document. Just a little improvements here and there. And now I'm going to hand it over to Sasha for even more exciting new features.
All right. Thank you, Althea. Hi all, I'm Sasha for one more time. So yeah, there's this thing called pre-check-in. I'm not sure if you guys heard about it. But you know, one of the things that in order for all of this work, obviously there is some configuration work that will need to happen. And one of the biggest thing I wanted to highlight is that this is a time that you really want to pay attention to your home and billing account linking between the patient's portal. So this will prepare you and will make your road easy for the pre-check-in implementation. Once you have all that in place, the other thing that comes along with that is that the images and the policies also appear in pre-check-in once those families, patients receive those notifications. So we do give you ability to pre-configure that by reaching out to us. We can enable it for you, and then you can start working on the pre-config. Now, and of course, if you're interested and you feel you're ready for this, please do reach out to us, the Client Advocate. We can get that rolling for you. So this is the way that how it currently designed. This is what we currently have, and of course, more is coming. We'll give the ability to for patient information to be updated, for the billing account information to be updated and changed and confirmed, as well as insurance. So one of the main pieces, one of my favorite things to do is that they have the ability to add a new insurance policy, which then later comes into the EHR. With that being said, There's a couple of different things on the right side of the screen that you're looking at. It will have the current information that you will be able to see, that what you have in the EHR. And on the right side of the screen, you will notice some changes. So anything that you see in orange indicates newly added information. All right, so as the end user, once the patient arrives to the office, you have full ability to import that new information, okay, or adjust, maybe it was a typo, maybe the phone number was actually not the right one. So either way, you have the full capabilities of making those changes on your end. And in addition to that, we're gonna be display you and give you the option to view the image, which is the insurance card that may have been uploaded. So that's exciting. That's something that's handled by our team. And again, I encourage you to check it out. Look at the videos that we have on Learn. We do have webinars as well that we host almost, I think, every week, every 2 weeks. So this is new and exciting. And, moms can do this now when the kids are sleeping. So I think that's the exciting part. My favorite part is that when pre-check-in is also complete, we do also prompt users to make a payment if there's an outstanding balance. One thing that you will also notice, so they can pay in the office, they can pay the balance, but there is no option not to pay. So you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I can guarantee that. And there it is. So you can see it here. In addition to that, we also now have the ability to remove Discover or Amex. I know there's one particular client here in this room, probably super excited about the Discover payment. So that is fully configurable. We can remove that at your request. All right. All right. So this one here made my inbox a lot cleaner now. So for those of you folks who are using Chattis, we recognize the issue and the problem that we did not have a tool that lets you move canceled encounters with, let's say, completed Chattis results, right? So in the past, this was done manually. You had to copy and paste into a new encounter. I know I got a ton of emails about this. And so, yeah, we recognize the need. We made a change. So now, if you do have those encounters with canceled orders, you can, in fact, move those to the future encounters. So as long as you are within the patient visit, you go to Edit, and there's a new tool called Move Chattis Results. So that's definitely one that I'm personally very excited about. And we're going to talk about some interface setups too. So unlike CDX team, Morgan's team, we do also do a lot of different interface setups for our clients as well. These numbers here, as they may seem low, but our team is fairly small. And so to have 25 new BluePay or portal implementations is huge for us. FlowRoute is the company that we use for the SMS, so you guys can press buttons and send those messages. Televox is the company that we work with for patient appointment reminders. There was 11 new of those. And of course, Chattis, I Breathe and Sleep, is 27 new implementations. So again, these numbers that you're seeing here mostly represent new client setups. And again, a fairly small team, so this is a lot of work, maintenance and everything else that goes along the way. And with that being said, I'm going to wrap up with some pretty cool numbers here. I think we had these numbers also at the last UC. Again, it's just this is the work for all clients together. This is what you see number here represents all of you guys. Numbers are too long, so I'm not going to read them to you, but you get the idea. So Chip mentioned earlier about the broadcast messages and text and emails. So all of that combines about 20-something million messages sent. And then I realized that we gave you too much power. Portal payments, 500,000 transactions. I know James over there is like, what? Is that serious? Equals that number, again, is just pretty impressive in terms, this is only for less than 300 clients that we have. And again, Notify, this is the amount of voice messages, SMS, and emails totally sent. And again, this is just 1 year that we're seeing. And at this point, I'll pass it on back to Althea.
Me again. So, more portal improvements. This is in test right now. It's a work in progress, but you get a sneak peek. We are including the message history in the reply. As a parent, I am super excited about this feature. So the parent can see questions and answers as they're writing their response. We're also bolding the name of any siblings for families that have multiple children. They can find the particular message that they are looking for more easily. We have removed the More button, and we're replacing it with the All Messages button. The More button just shows a few messages at a time, and our end users said they want to see all the messages so that they can search them. So those are some exciting new portal improvements, and there are more to come. On the EHR side, we are allowing users to combine multiple patients and accounts, so duplicates, combining them in the EHR. This is a work in progress. It's, I believe it's in test now, and I'm already loving the colors. So it's just going to be a lot more intuitive, and you're not going to have to go into Partner to do that when, mistakes happen, you make a duplicate, and you want to combine those details. Let's see. Okay, so roadmap items. These are either in design or starting to be built. We're going to add Z-scores to growth charts. It's going to be in the blue box up on the left and also down in the tabular data. That's just another way to kind of understand patients' weight and give the best care. And then we're also improving the workflow for signing policy documents in the patient portal, and more information coming soon on that one. And then this has been a popular request, and we have heard you. We are going to allow other portal users to complete patient check-in. We're working on designs for how that can happen, just to make that a little more streamlined. So to be continued on those roadmap items. For the UC, they're all on Thursday. Thursday is our day, I guess. So you can, I believe that Chip is engaging with your patients, and Lee and I are doing the pre-check-in presentation. That's geared towards folks who are not live with pre-check-in, but are pre-check-in curious. And we're going to talk about Chattis. Sasha is going to do the Chattis presentation. And then at the end of the day on Thursday, a panel on incorporating behavioral health, so behavioral health integration in your practice. So we look forward to seeing you at any and all of those.
I don't know what song they play at the Oscars, but yeah, thanks, Katie. Thank you, Dr. Schaefer. I spent the entire time while they were talking trying to come up with something clever to say to introduce forms. And you genuinely want to know what the best thing I came up with was? I don't know what frums is, and then I was going to go, oh, forms. Really not very good. Dan, come on up, Dan.
Yeah, okay, there we go. What are FRUMs? I don't know. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan. I'm the designer for Delivery Team 6. We have been working on forms for the past couple of years. Many of you are using forms. Many of you have heard me talk about forms. But believe it or not, we also work on reports. Since the last users conference, we've been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work on reports. This is a report which you know and love. I hope you know and love. I know and love it. One thing that we've done behind the scenes that you may have noticed is that we've been working really hard to make the report library just work faster, to get you your results without having to wait a long time. And this is a constant work in progress. As you know, with PCC, we're always trying to make things work faster, be smoother, and not waste your time. We hope to have more to bring back to you next time in terms of making the report library work better and work faster. The other thing that we have done in this report in particular is we've heard that being able to report on patients who are refusing their immunizations is really important. So in this report, as well as the patient list, we've allowed you to now filter to find your patients who have refused the HPV or refused an MMR to really make sure that you can follow up with those people and get them the best care and give them the best protection that they can have. But I like forms. Forms is my baby. What have we done? So when we came to you last year at the users conference, we were just starting to introduce the ability to add a practice header so you could get your logo onto your forms, make them look nice and professional. But we were missing something down at the bottom, as well as something up at the top and at the sides. White space is cool. You know, Apple has taught us white is great, right? Well, there was an inch. There was a full inch all the way around your form that you could never do anything with. We're now going to allow you to stretch it out a little bit. For your headers and your footers, you can now set independent margins. If you have a footer, which is really cool, it goes all the way across, it's very nice blue, you can set it up so that it now goes all the way across your form. But that doesn't mean that your header is also going to stretch all the way across. It's pretty nice. You can control those independently. And I've been talking about a footer. That's funny because we didn't have a footer before. We do now. So now, rather than it just being a practice header, it's actually a practice letterhead. And when you're adding, when you've added a header and you've added a footer, you can choose if you want to have the header and or the footer on any form that you have. You're not locked in once you create it. You do have the option. In fact, you can see that on there. There's a fun little 2 buttons where there was only 1 before. We didn't limit the margin thing just to the headers and the footers. Having an inch on your forms could be a little bit much too. So if we're going to allow you to change the margins for your headers and your footers, we're going to allow you to change the margins for your form body as well. That way you can have your forms look the way that they want to look and not be wasting space that you don't want to waste. The other thing that we've done, and this is very behind the scenes-y, is that we have improved the technology that takes this form and turns it into a form which you can hand to your patients. For those of you who got very creative and wanted to create nicely formatted columns of data, but we didn't have a way for you to do that, you were putting in spaces, and sometimes that would mean that things kind of moved around. Not anymore. So we were able to really lock down the way that we're able to make it so that what you see really is what you get when you print out your form. And it's also allowed us to do some other nice little things here and there. Actually enabled the margin work to happen as well. That is what we have done since the last users conference. But that's not all that we're doing. As you've heard, there is an initiative underway, the One PCC initiative, which we are now heavily involved with, and that's on the reporting side. And you might be thinking, well, what reports are there that are still in partner? SRS. Yeah. Well, not anymore. Well, I say that. We're working to make it not anymore. And we will be moving all of those financial reports, all the reports that you use in SRS, and all that functionality will be moving into the report library. Very soon. Coming soon, very soon. In fact, starting in 10.1, the next release, you're going to start seeing some of these. We have started with trying to make the reporting for your provider productivity a lot easier. We reached out and spoke to many of you, and we've discovered that you're running 2 or 3 or 4 more reports every month, maybe every quarter, to get all of the numbers that you needed to be able to put into your spreadsheets, to be able to figure out how much revenue your providers were pulling in and what their share of the profits should be, and overall how your practice was doing. Took a long time, and we realized how difficult the filters are to use in SRS. And we have done a lot of work to try to make those filters easier to use, easier to understand, and also to give you more filtering ability so that you can get all of the information you need by running one report, maybe once. That would be cool. That's the goal. I don't want you to have to run the same report 2 times, 3 times. That's a waste of your time. We've also worked hard to make this as flexible as possible. So while there's a nice, a very high level here, we're also setting it up so that based on what columns you include, that will change the fundamental way that your data appears, so that if you are breaking down your charges or your payments by procedure group, for example, or you have multiple locations and you need to see how those are doing against each other, you have the ability to do that with only one run of the report, and you can get all of your information in one place. We will be working on other financial reports. In fact, we are looking to do some to help out the Get Paid people who you heard from earlier. We are hoping to make it easy for you to be able to prove out the amount of money that auto posting has put into your system versus how much was in your check, but also to be able to do that against your manually posted insurance checks as well. Next on the list is visit reporting. That's a deep discussion that we're still in the middle of. But a lot of reporting stuff coming, and hopefully some changes to the way that they look and feel, especially in the way that the output looks and feels, coming to a release near you next year for sure, and allowing us to do some functionality that we've been wanting to do for a long time, like being able to have not just one set of row groups, but maybe 2 or 3 or 4. So we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited to come back to you guys next year and show you all the cool stuff we've been working on. So where do you want to go? Where do you go if you want to learn more about this? Well, later today, we're going to be talking to you more in depth about all of the forms work that we've been doing. Unfortunately, Refactor Man himself was not able to make it. We have defeated him. But we'll still be talking about everything we've been going. If you're interested in learning how to build new forms or want to learn how to build new forms better, we'll be offering a workshop that will be in person only. And of course, we do have financial and clinical oversight reporting going on Thursday and Friday with our own wonderful Tim Proctor, who's in the back. Thank you, Tim. And if you would like some focused time with the reporting team, there was another session added after I made this slide. There will be a reporting walk-in clinic in the open lab on Thursday afternoon, and there will be a reporting drop-in session on Friday. So 2 chances to come and talk to us about reports, about your reporting needs, to let us help you out. That.
Thank you, Dan. Also, so thank you. For my last look, I'll do a runway, and you guys all have to clap. But just for reference, it was months ago that we were having a company meeting, and I was asked if I would host like a fun company version of Family Feud, and I was like, oh, I have this bit. I'll wear like 3 different blazers throughout the thing. Never do anything in front of Aaron Hour that you don't want to do at a conference. That is the reason why I brought all of these things, and I'm basically putting all my eggs in one basket with this presentation. I have very few other outfits that I'm going to be wearing. So next we have Mark, come on up, Mark, talking about tech services. Mark is actually super new to PCC, so we're really excited to have him talking at the What's New, What's Next. Mark is the What's New.
Owen said, I'm new to PCC, so I thought I should at least introduce myself. Probably best known as I played Gaston in Disney's Beauty and the Beast in high school. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun. But truly, so I'm a project manager for PCC's technical services. I'm new to PCC, as I noted, but I've worked with software for a number of years, also including other electronic health records. So I've played the game for a long time. And I wanted to say also that, and I think I speak for the entire team, that I have, and I think we all have, a profound respect and admiration for what everyone in this room accomplishes on a daily basis. So I just wanted to share that. It's my 4 months here at PCC, that's what I've taken already. So wonderful work you guys do, truly. I don't forget to move the slide. So what's next for technical services, or what's new currently, and it's still ongoing, so we wanted to note these. So at this point, we're especially focused on the CentOS 7 to Rocky 8 operating system migrations. This is to stay current with industry standards. Rocky 8 can be updated and patched as needed to update security needs, and it's an operating system that will utilize your hardware as effectively as possible. So this is an important update, and that's what we're continuing to do. Wanted to share that. Goals to have that completed by the end of the year. What else is new is leveraging the cloud server model. So everyone is talking cloud, and we are too. So the cloud server model, we are utilizing it whenever possible. The keys for the GCE, the cloud candidacy, are your internet speed, your latency, and the size of your practice comes into play as well. So I just wanted to note, when you're thinking of, if you've been hearing about cloud, talking about cloud, please come to see me, Dan, Cliff, and Stephen. We'd love to talk about it with you. So we'll be around the PCC office and around. We'd love to talk about that with you. So the next slide is about keeping the lights on. And that's, it's really important, obviously, for your network to be there when you want it to be there. So that's what we are here to do with the PCC EHR. You get not only the EHR, you also get a great environment team. So we are with you from the onboarding through ongoing system maintenance. We provide and maintain your networking hardware, which is part of your subscription, and that includes firmware and hardware refreshments. And though we do not provide support or provide the specific hardware in this next area, we've also been known to advise on your local network architecture a bit, so during those interactions. So we do enjoy and love to do that, so hope you appreciate that. So what is next for technical services? I wanted to get back to GCE again briefly. So as we had noted, GCE provides greater availability, recoverability, and resilience, those buzzwords, for your growing practice, but it's true. So it also allows for smoother migrations as needed in the future, provides for greater scalability, so you can grow your practice more reliably and more quickly, potentially, than a physical server. So, and if you ever needed to move the server, it provides greater mobility for your server. The other thing, this is something that we've been talking a lot about, and it's a little more on the technical side, but is a consideration. There's different ways to store data, and so it's an evolving consideration. So for what's new for PCC's technical goals, it's migrating to GCE, and part of that is a better solution for storing your data, and especially images. That takes up a lot of space. So Object Cloud Storage offers a place to scale better, and migrations can also be completed more quickly. So together, we can be more agile for your growing system, reducing any downtime. So did want to just plug a couple of somewhat related upcoming courses. We've got Mastering Spreadsheets 101 with our very own Stephen Moore on Thursday at 3:45. And also, you know, security is important for technical services, so I wanted to plug Megan's Securing Your Patients in Practice on Wednesday at 3 p.m. So thank you all for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Look, I have to be honest with you all. I had to put together 7 outfits. I had 6. This is just a bunch of fabric. But I'll call it my Liberace look. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Thank you. And to answer everyone's question, no, I did not buy a single thing for this conference. I went into my closet and I pulled out a bunch of stuff, threw it in a bag, and put it on the UC truck. That was my only condition. I was like, Aaron, you have to let me put it on the shipping truck so that I don't need to check all of it. It was like 2 bags. They were unloading all the equipment, and I think Brian LeClaire was like, is this clothes? With a big piece of tape that says for Owen. But yeah, so we have one last set of presenters, Kate and Jerry. Come on up. These are probably the ones that you're most familiar with.
Did I do the thing? I work in software. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Orange, you glad it's almost lunchtime? Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Dad jokes are a big thing here at PCC, so we're just going to keep this really short and sweet. Jerry Wolfenbarger and I are both client advocates at PCC, and we're presenting a very brief what's new in our world. So take it away, Jerry. All right?
I was lucky, I was fortunate enough to be on the project team to talk about our new support ticketing system. The great thing about it is that it really doesn't look any different for you other than when you're signing into your new Freshdesk portal to track your tickets if you so do so. It's modern, it's super user-friendly. We can track so much more. We can automate some of our responses to you, and trust me, we have not done that. We're not going to have Autobots responding to your, hey, I need help with this. You're still going to get the same service you've always gotten from the whole entire Ensure Success support team. But again, you can easily submit and track your support tickets, receive timely updates and notification on the status of your requests, access to comprehensive knowledge for quick and self-help solutions. That's expanding and growing, so you'll see that, much like learn.pcc.com, I think you'll see that expand as we just feed more information into it. Again, we just want to give great service to all of you. I have a class coming up, I'll talk about it in a bit, but there's a class on Thursday if you want to talk more about support and how to get the best support. Please come visit and we can talk more in detail.
All right, since the last users conference, we have some fantastic new and a returning member to our team. We have Fisher Wag, who is one of the fantastic musicians that happens to work at PCC. He joined the Rapid Response team in February of 2024. And the next name on the screen, Jeremy Hill, you may recognize it because he actually was at PCC previously and has come back. And he was on the Rapid Response team, as well as new client implementation, and a billing specialist on the billing team. So we're very excited to have his subject matter expertise back on the front lines. We also have a new client advocate, Andriana Shabbat. I was told to pronounce it like ciabatta. So again, she accepts Andriana and Andriana interchangeably, and Shabbat, like ciabatta. She is the client advocate holding down the fort at home, and I know she's watching this, so thank you. And that is all. Just highlighting again that we have a course called Help Us Help You to dive deeper into the support experience with PCC.
Oh my God, where's Owen? Oh my God, where is he? Oh, he's about to come out in the best outfit. Everybody better clap for him.
You guys have been great. Truly. Oh, thanks. I have so much Riz. Great, you get a gold star. Great. No, but for real, thank you all for coming.